Hi, Secret Servey here. Today I am going to explain an American drama romance film called Butterfly. Spoilers ahead, watch out and take care. At the Arizona-Nevada line in 1937, a 17-year-old young lady hitches a ride with a transporter going toward the town of Good Springs. She allures him, and he pulls the truck over to the roadside. At the point when the truck stops, she snatches her bag and runs past that certain point toward a little shack having a place with a tough-looking man named Jess Tyler. The young lady questions him about his union with Belle Morgan, with whom he had two youngsters before Belle left to accompany her darling, Mo Blue. The young lady uncovers that she is Katie, one of Jess' little girls. Over supper, Katie makes sense of that she and her sister, Janie, experienced childhood in a lodging for excavators, and that Belle has become sick. Katie additionally has a 1-month-old child named Danny. In spite of the fact that Jess at first will not allow Katie to remain with him, her tears adjust his perspective. As he prepares for bed, he becomes diverted watching Katie's outlines tripping down behind a screen. The following morning, Jess observes Katie investigating the neglected silver mine that sits on the slope over the house. The proprietor, Mr. Gillespie, shut the mine down, yet Katie believes that there could be sufficient silver excess to furnish her and Jess with a superior life. Jess blames Katie for just pursuing cash, however she concedes that the dad of her kid is Mr. Gillespie's child, Wash, who wouldn't wed her on account of her unfortunate family ancestry. Jess takes more time to chapel, where they see Ed Lamy, a relative of Mo Blue who rummages mines. At the point when the evangelist lets Katie know that she should scrub herself of wrongdoing, she complains and stomps off in the distance. The following morning, a man drops Katie off at Jess' shack. She lets her dad know that she went through the night at a young lady companion's home, however will not give more subtleties. She chooses to leave. However, he persuades her to remain by promising to scan the dig for silver chips. As he kisses her forehead to calm her cerebral pain, she strokes his face, however he pulls away. Notwithstanding going through the whole following day in the mine, they see as no silver. Afterward, while washing up, Jess gives Katie a cozy back rub. She empowers his touch. However, his soul compels him to stop. The following day in the mine, Jess and Katie find $210 worth of silver mineral, their voices reverberation through the passages, and Ed Lamy hears the fresh insight about their loot. After Katie and Jess utilize the cash to purchase new garments, they visit the nearby coffee shop. Whenever Katie attempts to leave with two men, Jess becomes envious and stirs something up. Subsequently, Jess and Katie are compelled to pay $12 in harms to Judge Roch. Disparaging of Katie's hypersexual nonverbal communication and appearance, the adjudicator blames her for being a boisterous youth and chastens her dad for not sending her to change school. Whenever Jess and Katie leave the town hall, they get back to observe that Janie and Katie's child, Danny, have shown up. Janie reports that Wash has chosen to wed Katie, and Jess sees an odd butterfly-molded skin pigmentation on Danny's midsection. The following morning, when Wash shows up in his costly convertible, Katie acknowledges his proposition. In the wake of asking Jess' consent and promising that Katie will be all around accommodated, Wash announces that they will wed in 2 days. That evening, Mo Blue and Ed Lamy carry Belle to visit, However, she falls in a hacking fit and must be taken care of. On the patio, Moke Blue cleverly recommends to Wash that Mr. Gillespie ought to place Jess responsible for the mine. Whenever Moke Blue goes inside to keep an eye on Belle, she endeavors to wound him with a cap-pin, yet he tosses her to the side and kills her. At Belle's memorial service, Ed Lamy's dubious grin makes Jess acknowledge Ed knows something about the mine. Jess runs into the passage and finds Moke Blue, shirtless, taking lumps of silver metal. Jess detects a butterfly-molded pigmentation close to Moke Blue's navel, which prompts him to accept that Moke Blue is Danny's genuine dad. Nauseated to find that Moke Blue had intercourse with Katie, Jess shoots him in the stomach. Prior to kicking the bucket, Moke Blue makes sense of that the skin coloration just happens in guys, and uncovers that Katie is likewise his little girl. Jess hauls Moke Blue further into the mine and leaves his body shrouded in rubble. At the inn where the Gillespies are dwelling, Jess meets with Mr. Gillespie and his better half, Helen, to illuminate them that Danny is Moke Blue's child, not Wash's. Jess tells Wash it would be best for him to at no point see Katie in the future. Accordingly, Wash never shows up to recover Katie upon the arrival of their wedding. The following morning, Jess and Katie kiss on the slope, where they are seen by Ed Lamy. Once inside the mine, Jess and Katie have intercourse and unearth more silver. The police show up in a matter of seconds thereafter and capture them on charges of inbreeding. Whenever Judge Roch sentences Jess to a decade in jail, Jess claims that he assaulted Katie so she can try not to confront a comparative sentence. Yet, Katie won't permit him to lie himself and owns up to the court that she had needed to have intercourse with him. Jess uncovers that Moke Blue is Katie's genuine dad, provoking Ed Lamy to announce that he and Moke Blue were stepbrothers who shared a mother. In the wake of contrasting child Danny and Ed Lamy's skin pigmentations that demonstrate their connection and negates Katie and Jess inbreeding, the adjudicator permits Jess and Katie to walk free. In the last scene, Katie leaves town with Wash since he can give a decent life to Danny, yet she guarantees that Jess will continuously be her daddy. But in the last shot, as Jess gets once again into his truck and drives away to get back to the mine, one more truck with Ed Lamy driving it starts to follow him, suggesting that Lamy could look for vengeance against Jess.
Subscribe for my video. Like this, turn on notification, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thanks for watching.